Hello, Merry Christmas. Eggnog laced with bourbon, Elijah Craig, excellent. But I digress. As the title placard of this video says, why I cannot and will not purchase a Microsoft or Sony console for the foreseeable future. Yeah. I've been saying this, you've been a fan of my videos, or if you've just joined, I've been saying this for years, but I'll leave a link in the description that I really beg you, if you're watching this, to go watch by Razor Fist. Excellent video about Sony. And after the cut, I'll tell you why. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm not giving them a nickel, a dime, a dollar. After the cut. All right. Let's get down to it. Here's why I just can't do it. I just can't do it. Part of it is just stuff that Razor Fist said. Although really, I've felt this way since I was 13 years old. So for 15 years, I have just not really... And I'll tell you what happened. When I was 13 years old, two things happened. First of all, that summer, I started working for my grandfather, who was a professional landscaper, and I was getting paid. I mean, not a huge amount. I was getting a little bit of money, but, you know, here and there, a little bit, right? And started spending my own little bit of money, you know? So, you know, up until that point, I'd always been a Sony fan. Like, I had a PS1, I love Sony products, blah, 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 Sony, Sony, Sony. And I realized something. Their shit wasn't very high quality, not like it used to be. Very expensive, but the actual quality was not there. Comparatively speaking. Like, this is when DVDs were first coming out. Like, a Sony DVD player was like $300, $400. I could get a Panasonic DVD player for $150. You know, you know. Later on, when the prices went down a little bit, I could get a Sony DVD player for $150. I get a Panasonic for like $79.99, or a Samsung or whoever. And I mean, that was some bullshit back then. Then later on that year, when school began, I did a major project in my economics class, and I focused on Nintendo / Sony. I focused on two big players in the Japanese console market, and you remember at this time Sega was gone. So, and I did research on the original PlayStation, and I found out that Sony built their PlayStation on the bones of Nintendo's ideas. Motherfuckers. Now, I realize in business you do what you need to do in order to turn a profit. You know, businesses are not charities. People are in business to make money. But some of the shit Sony's been doing is just really, really fucking shady. I mean, really, really shady. I mean, damn shady. I mean, just, ugh. Pivoting, you know, and that basically, you know, I can't support a company that does the shady shit that Sony does. I can't support a company that lies to consumers, lies to their shareholders, lies to the general public in order to make it seem like things are okay. The only difference between Sony and Enron is that Sony has the Japanese government and Japanese banks giving them low interest loans to keep them afloat. Because if Sony didn't have the low interest loans that it took out, it would be completely underwater. Which is a technical term for being, which is a non-jargon term used to describe being over leveraged. which basically just means that you owe more money on something than the property or business is actually worth. So, like, because if Sony, the loans that they took out from Japanese banks and government loans they took from the Japanese government, if they weren't low interest loans, Sony would be completely underwater. It would be in more debt than what it's actually worth. And when your company is in more debt than it's actually worth, because remember, 20 years ago, Sony was worth, I want to say $180 billion. Now they're worth like 30. And I'm being very liberal with the 30. It's probably less than that, but I'm you know, I don't have the exact figures in front of me. That's some shady ass shit. That's shady. Okay? And Sony's been caught lying and, you know, playing 3-card Monty with numbers multiple times. So, little shady. Little fucking shady. So anyway, that being said, what does this mean? Let's pivot away from Sony to Microsoft. Yeah, you know, I buy a lot of Microsoft products because they're ubiquitous, but really, the whole monopoly thing, like, if the only way you can be a profitable company is by having a fucking monopoly, you're not that competitive. You're not competitive. You have to basically make sure that your opponents have no fighting chance. On an even playing field, Microsoft would get its ass kicked. Simple as that. And I can't support a company that... I mean, some of the shit that Microsoft tried to do with the Xbox One, which they've since rescinded, but the fact that they thought of that shit in the first place, it's like someone saying... I mean, basically, when I hear people say, well, Microsoft's doing the right thing now, well, that's cool, but they shouldn't have been doing the wrong thing in the first place. Okay, and I know what some people are going to say. Well, you're a Nintendo fan. What about the shit Nintendo did? Yeah, but Nintendo never had a plan to sell my, my aggregate data from what I look at on my internet browser on my Wii U to fucking, to advertising agencies so that product manufacturers can tailor commercials to go through the Wii U interface on my while I'm gaming. Microsoft did that with the Xbox 360, and they tried to do that shit to a greater degree on the Xbox One. That's some shady ass shit. Okay, not to mention the whole trying to dictate how you're gonna game and all that shit. So you compile that with their fucking monopolistic practices and just shady shit that Microsoft does. I'm not giving them a fucking dime of my money. And here's the thing, okay? This isn't a monetary issue. This isn't like I can't afford it. If I wanted to right now, I could go out to Target, Kmart, Best Buy, buy both of them. No problem. And probably like 4 or 5 games for each of them if I wanted to. But I don't really want to. You know, it just... These companies don't really... You know, Microsoft and Sony just... The shadiness is just... It makes me feel dirty to even know that I've supported these companies... Well, these companies in the past. It makes me feel real dirty. It makes me feel very, very dirty. And you should not feel dirty when you buy a product. You shouldn't feel like, oh my god, I'm contributing to the problem. Like, you know, I feel dirty when I realize that I bought a PlayStation system. I feel dirty when I realize that I bought Microsoft products. It makes me feel dirty. Now, this, you know, I'm not going to... This isn't a inquisition or, you know, no mud in the eye of people who've purchased these consoles. God bless you. But me personally, I can't do it. It's going to be, for the foreseeable future, it's going to be PC and Wii U only. To hell with Microsoft and Sony. I'm not giving these fuckers any of my money for their shady ass business practices. Sony's lying bullshit, Microsoft's, well, we were gonna rape you, but then we got caught trying to sneak up behind you and fuck you up the ass, so we're not gonna do it anymore. It's like you shouldn't have been trying to rape me in the first place, motherfucker. That's basically. That's the end of this video. It's just me telling you my general ideas about why I'm probably not going to be buying either of these consoles for the foreseeable future. After the cut, we'll talk about something near and dear to my heart. Upcoming events and a big thing happening tomorrow that I would like you guys to be aware of. Alright, here's what's coming up in the foreseeable future. Ooh. So I'll be having my big end of year podcast tomorrow night at 7 on this channel. It'll be live. Ooh, you can watch it. Although I would prefer you watch it on the Google page because that way you'll be able to ask questions live, which we'll try and get to because it's going to be fucking awesome. So come on. I'll also be doing my top 10 greatest moments of 2014 and top 10 most terrible, most embarrassing moments of 2014 industry-wide. If you are unable to make the podcast tomorrow night and you still want to leave a question, follow the link here, right here. So that's good. Let's see what else. That's it. This will be the big thing. Oh, also shameless plug for gamers at large. There will be a end of year podcast this Sunday, I believe. So watch it. Look forward to it. There will be a lot of people involved. It's going to be friggin' awesome. So enjoy it. There we go. You guys have a good day.